Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Double FM Sports. I'm Ethan Fager.
And I'm Darren Mizrak. And today we are joined by the legendary J-Man's Jedi soccer coach, Donovan Despenis. Donovan, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Now, before you guys go researching J-Man's Jedis, you're not going to find anything on them. It's a local soccer team, one of the best. I am, in fact, part of it. And like I said, Donovan is the coach, and he's going to be joining us today for the podcast. We got some news. We got some stuff on the NFL draft, and we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. So, Ethan, what do you want to start out with?
Didn't we already... I thought... Well, let's go news.
All right, so on the news, first off, big one out of college basketball. 5-star prospect, and I'm pretty sure 24/7's number 9 recruit Greg Brown is committed to Texas. We have a few guys entering the NBA draft. 4 out of Memphis, Precious Achiuwa. This one hits a little close to home. But just recently, within the hour, guard out of Michigan State, Aaron Henry, has declared for the draft. A little bit of an interesting one. Landers Nolly, who we mentioned in our last podcast, transferred to Memphis, declared for the draft, and then about an hour later took his name out with respect to Memphis. A big guy who's not going to the draft, Houston guard Quentin Grimes, the former Michigan point guard, or not Michigan, Kansas, my bad. A little bit of stuff outside the NFL draft in the NFL. Trent Williams was traded to the 49ers. I'm sure you all probably saw that. Matt Breida was traded to the Dolphins. Yeah. And one of the most legendary offensive linemen in the game, Joe Staley, retired after 13 seasons. Besides that, there is one thing. This is a little bit, I don't want to say controversial because people don't always consider it a sport, but we're giving it the benefit of the doubt. NASCAR recently had a issue with Kyle Larson, the driver of the number 42 car for Chip Ganassi, and he was fired. It was just announced within the past 25 minutes that Matt Kenseth will be piloting the number 42 car next year. That's pretty much
Wait, are we going to talk about, the Saints' moves?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The Saints, 2 quarterback moves, actually. They extended Taysom Hill till 2021, and they signed the former Buccaneers quarterback, Jameis Winston. I'm assuming that's to groom him to be Drew Brees' replacement when he retires. Is there anything I missed from the both of you?
No, I don't believe so. No, nothing, important.
All right. So, it seems we've disconnected from Donovan, so technical difficulties.
Oh, no. What? Oh, God. What? Jordan's phone had to have died.
It said it just shut down. Man, we're one episode without Todd, and we're falling apart.
Oh, speaking of that, Todd's hiatus may be shorter than expected, so you might be hearing from him sooner than you think. Just yes. Throwing that out there.
All right, Ethan, you want to call him line and inform them with information on Todd?
What?
You want to try and get Donovan back in this podcast?
Yeah, let's do it. Hello?
Hello?
Alright, we're good. Alright.
It just, turned off.
Technical difficulties are...
No worries. Where were we? NFL draft?
Yeah, I think we just finished off our news. Donovan, you're a Steelers fan, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. So, I respect that. Have you been watching the draft lately?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
How do you feel about the Steelers draft class?
I think it could have been better.
All right. I like that opinion. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I think that's how everyone feels at this point.
I gotta be honest though, in division rival, I'm a little bit scared. Now, people might judge me for this, but the Bengals offense honestly looks scary. You got Joe Burrow, number 1 overall pick. We talked about that last podcast, so I'm not going to talk too much about Joe Burrow. But the first pick in the second round was a guy that, honestly, in my opinion, was probably a late first-round prospect in T. Higgins. And you're going to have one of the best college receivers last year pairing up with the best college quarterback last year. Not to mention they got Joe Mixon in the backfield and A.J. Green. Look out for the Bengals. I know Ethan and Donovan, you probably hate to hear it, but
The AFC North's actually going to be tough this year. Not going to lie.
it's gonna be a dogfight.
It's going to be like the NFC West.
I felt there was a few controversial picks in the second round. I mean, the Lions took DeAndre Swift out of Georgia.
Oh, yeah, that was...
They already have Kerryon Johnson. The same thing goes for the Colts. They had Marlon Mack, who was a fantasy leader last year. They took Jonathan Taylor, one of the most dominant college running backs ever. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me.
I mean, I guess they I think I've said this before, they wanted to do what the Ravens did with, like, Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards. They want to try to find that 1-2, which I don't know if those guys are going to be the 1-2 punch that they think they have, but...
It might work out. Another one that I thought was a little interesting. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the Patriots, I think they pulled a very Patriot-esque move, and they drafted Kyle Duggar out of Lenore-Ryan University, Division II school. I thought that was a little bit interesting. I mean, I think it's a very Patriot-esque move.
Yeah, well, they also took 2 tight ends, so... They took
I think that they should have drafted a quarterback, because I don't know if Brian Hoyer could, like, carry them to what they need to do.
Hey, they just signed Brian Lorky out of Michigan State, my boy, the Spartan. So I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, they need a good quarterback, though, not Brian Lewerke.
Yeah, Brian Lewerke's not the answer. I got to be honest, though. The rumor is that they're going to be not tanking, but they're going to have a mediocre season because of all the players they lost. And next thing you know, they're going to be like they're going to be like an 8-18. They're going to trade to the top 5, and they're going to pick up Trevor Lawrence. Which, I don't know about you guys, but Trevor Lawrence scares me. He just scares me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, it was tank for Tua this year. It's tank for Trevor next year.
Yeah, pretty much. And on the topic of quarterbacks, there was an interesting move in the second round for a quarterback. Jalen Hurts. I gotta be 100% honest. I don't know what the Eagles front office was thinking. Jalen Hurts. I mean, you got Carson Wentz, who is apparently your go-to guy. That seems to be their franchise quarterback, and they picked Jalen Hurts in the second round. It's a little bit of a, I don't know. It's just a little bit. It's a confusing pick for me. I don't really understand.
I think we were like on call with each other whenever that happened. I think what I said was, I think they should have drafted someone else. However, I understand their worries because obviously we all know Carson Wentz has had a pretty bad history with injuries. So in his short career. So, obviously, that was kind of just, like, insurance just in case he goes down.
Again. Yeah, and I get that. It's just, I don't know. I like Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts, I've been saying the same thing for the past 2 years. Ever since Carson Wentz was not part of the Eagles Super Bowl run, I said Carson Wentz is a liability. He's too injury-prone. And they saw that. Carson Wentz, I'm pretty sure, didn't he have another injury this year? And he didn't play sometime?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then he got that concussion in the playoff game.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts it doesn't seem like the right pick to me. If you're going to go quarterback, which doesn't make much sense in the first place, I think you go with a guy who, I don't know, I feel like he fits the scheme a little more in someone like Jacob Eason or Jake Fromm, who I'm surprised slipped past the second round.
Yeah, they were there for a while.
I mean, I think he's in the third rounder.
I think he was in the fourth.
Yeah.
He went to the Colts in the fourth.
He was the round before Jake Fromm.
Yeah. Pick 122, pick 16 out of the fourth round. I like that pick for the Colts, though.
Because obviously Phillip Rivers is not going to be the long-term solution there.
Yeah.
Just because how old he is. And, I mean, do they still have Jacoby Brissett, or where did he go?
I think they do, but I don't think they will for much longer.
Yeah. And then also with the Bills taking Jake Fromm as kind of like, I don't know, insurance kind of to Josh Allen, because obviously we all know Josh Allen likes to run, so obviously in running quarterbacks tend to get more hurt. So
I don't know. I think it's more of an incentive for Josh Allen Josh Allen's got to perform. I'm not saying they're going to cut Josh Allen. No, never mind. They would never do that. They would never cut Josh Allen. But if Josh Allen underperforms this year, don't be surprised to see the Bills trade him, because they bring in a guy like Jake Fromm. The Bills made the playoffs last year as 10-6. They've got all they need. They just need Josh Allen to perform. And if he doesn't, they got Jake Fromm. They'll trade Josh Allen for another piece, and boom, you got Jake Fromm, or second-year quarterback. I think it was actually kind of a smart pick.
Yeah, I like the pick. I do like the pick.
How did you guys feel about Jordan Love going to the Packers?
Oh, we talked about this one for a good bit.
I love it.
I'm not on the Jordan Love. I'm not so sure about that pick, in all honesty.
I like it. I think Jordan Love's good.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, I think it was actually really smart, because I didn't think about this until just a couple of days ago when I saw something. One, it gives them possibly their quarterback for the future. So now they have a guy that they can rely on, hopefully after Aaron Rodgers retires. Now also, Aaron Rodgers, unless he requests a trade in the next couple months before the season, he is going to have a fire lit beneath him. They just drafted a quarterback and he's still performing. Aaron Rodgers,
he's going to be mad.
He's going to be mad, and he's going to be trying. He's going to do everything he can to win every single game. Because his contract, it depends on it.
I understand that, but at the same time, whenever you only have like one solid offensive target, and there's like pretty decent wide receivers out there, like Brandon Ayuk was still available, and you only have Devontae Adams, like you don't really have anyone behind him, so I would have taken a wide receiver there, but
yeah, because they need more wide receiver weapons.
And obviously losing Jimmy Graham too doesn't help.
Yeah. Who was it? It was. Now I gotta be honest. I didn't think I'd ever say this, because John Elway has a history of drafting really bad players. But the Broncos draft class,
pretty nice.
It's pretty good. I mean, they got two amazing wide receivers. We already talked about Jerry Jeudy in the last podcast. KJ Hamler in round 2. I mean, I can't think of a better wide receiver draft class than that.
And obviously,
I mean, they got some offensive linemen. Albert Okwa-Ibadan. That's a handful to say, but he's one of the better tight ends in the draft class. They got him round 4, so I don't know if you consider that a steal. I think it's a good pick for them.
Yeah, I think the Broncos team is the team of the future, especially in terms of the offense, because like you got guys like Drew Lock, Cortland Sutton, now Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Like they're all really young still. So, in my personal opinion, I don't know if the Broncos will have a good year necessarily this year. I think this year they're going to be trying to just figure things out, but next year, look out for them.
Yeah, for sure. I know this is a very love-hate team, but I think we should bring them up because I think they also had a good draft. The Cowboys. I mean, again, we talked about the first round already last podcast. CeeDee Lamb, amazing pick. Their second-round pick was Trayvon Diggs. Ethan, I know that makes you happy as an Alabama fan. They got a steal in the 4th round, one of the better centers, I believe, in the draft. Tyler Biadasz. I don't know how you'd say it.
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
he's
that.
a great player. I mean, and shout out to the locals because Pine Ridgeland, which is a school pretty close to us, I think it's about an hour and a half away. Ben Zanucci, he played for James Madison. He got drafted by the Cowboys in the seventh round. So, I mean, shout out to the locals, you know. I think Pennsylvania had at least 5 picks, including Jan Johnson, who, actually, I don't know if Jan Johnson was drafted. He at least got signed. Huge shout out to him. He's from Governor Mifflin. Ethan, I'm assuming you know that school because they're literally like 35 minutes away.
Yeah, I know
so
Governor
big
Mifflin.
shout out to him.
Yeah.
Is there any other teams or prospects you think we should talk about before we go into the NBA?
Give me a second. I'm gonna look at round 3 just to make sure there's nothing I mean, the one thing I did maybe want to say is how far Zach Bond fell.
I was surprised with that too. I mean, I thought he was a borderline first round talent, and then he fell to the 3rd round to the Saints. I mean, good for the Saints. I just thought he would have gone a little bit higher.
And I also like, as much as I hate to say it, I also really like the Ravens draft class too.
Fair enough. I mean,
J.K. Dobbins, Patrick Queen, Devin Duvernay out of Texas, Malik Harrison out of Iowa State. Like, those are all really solid players, and it annoys me that they got all those good players, but...
Yeah. I am looking 5th round, a little bit late, you know, day 3 of the draft. Not many people are watching it. The Jets got, in my opinion, an absolute steal. Cornerback Bryce Hall out of Virginia.
Yeah.
Now, many people who watch college football probably don't know his name, mostly because he had a pretty gruesome leg injury the first half of the season this past year. But Bryce Hall is one of the better cornerbacks out of the ACC, and I think had he not been injured this past college season, he could have been a top 3 round pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for the Jets. They got a cornerback to pair up with Jamal Adams, and Jamal Adams is safety in the secondary. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, obviously I think you'll be happy. I think your Cardinals had a pretty decent draft as well, JR.
Yeah, I think they addressed some pretty good needs, so I'm definitely happy about that.
The team that probably had who do you think had the worst draft class?
I don't even know, to be honest.
I might be considered to say the Steelers at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We were terrible.
They did not draft well, in my opinion.
No, you know who it is? Maybe the Falcons.
Possibly.
Because they took AJ Terrell, 16, and
it was questionable.
Or that Damon Arnett pick or whatever.
No, I like the Raiders draft class. I think it fits their...
Well, and I also...
I like the Buccaneers, who they picked up.
Yeah, the Buccaneers, I think they definitely had one of the better draft classes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, they already got a great team, as everybody knows, because they got Tom Brady, they got a stacked wide receiving core, 2 tight ends who are possible Pro Bowlers, and then they just somehow managed to add on to that.
Yeah, their team's gonna be very scary next year. They might even, I don't know if I want to say this, but they might even rival the Saints in the NFC South. Maybe.
They honestly probably could. I wouldn't be surprised if they...
I don't know, maybe this year they might not, just because of chemistries and stuff, everyone trying to work things out. But, like, next year, when Tom Brady's used to the new system, like, they could be a force to be reckoned with, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, there is one other sleeper pick that I saw, and he was the whole way in the last round.
Okay.
Shoot, I lost what his name is. Oh, man, that's embarrassing. Oh, no, here it is. Pick 220, KJ Hill. He's out of Ohio State, wide receiver. I don't know, KJ Hill had himself a pretty decent season at Ohio State. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if KJ Hill doesn't blow up, but I wouldn't be surprised if he fits well with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen over there at LA.
That might be it looks like an interesting combination. Obviously, I don't know too much about KJ Hill, but based on what you said, that could be very interesting.
Yeah. I guess simply because he's the last pick in the draft, I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Irrelevant, the inside linebacker, Tay Crowder for Georgia.
He's actually not that bad, to be honest.
No, he's not that bad. I mean, I guess there was 254 people that the teams felt better than him, but shout out to him for being the last pick of the draft. He definitely should get some credit.
I don't understand the Mr. Irrelevant thing, I'm going to be honest, because they got drafted and some people didn't get drafted, so how is he Mr. Irrelevant?
Because it's by no, like, it's nothing against the player. It's just the fact that by the time that it's the 255th pick of the draft, barely anybody's watching.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like the only serious fans, like, so that's like maybe at like 1,000 people.
Ethan, you said way too many.
I know. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself.
I was one of them serious people. I watched almost the whole third day of the draft.
I got respect for that.
You did too, JR, didn't you? You watched most of it.
I watched most of it. I watched like rounds 4 and like a little bit of 5 and 6.
Okay.
I don't really know. I think that's pretty much. Now, I do think that we talk about a little bit of the surprising undrafted players. Now, most of them have, or not most of them, but a number of them have gotten signed.
Yeah.
But the first one that really pops up is Trey Adams. Trey Adams, at least from my Madden 20 knowledge, was supposed to be a better offensive tackle than going undrafted out of Washington. So it was a little bit of a surprise to see him go undrafted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a case at that point where like most of the teams picked up a guard or something, so no one really like needed him.
Yeah, that's true. Another guy that kind of surprised me a little bit was the cornerback out of Michigan, Lavert Hill.
Yeah, definitely surprised me.
Another guy that I thought was good enough to get drafted, and he's, I don't know if he's signed yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And then the last one I think we should bring up, probably the biggest one, and I was a little bit surprised. I know there was some concern about a broken foot at the combine, but Thad Moss, now he obviously signed with the Redskins a couple of days ago. I think it was right after the draft on Sunday morning, maybe. That one surprised me a good bit because Thad Moss is a really good player, especially at the end towards the national championship last year.
Yeah. I thought he was going to get drafted. Well, I was going to say, you know who else got a steal, and I think you and me talked about this right before. The Dolphins got Malcolm Perry.
I don't know if it's a steal as much as it is just an interesting pick. I mean, I watched Malcolm Perry tear up offenses with his legs, so it's a little bit interesting because I'm sure Malcolm Perry, with the Dolphins taking Tua, they're not going to put him at quarterback. So Malcolm Perry, I feel like, is going to be – he's probably going to be a position convert guy. I could see him being Julian Edelman and being a wide receiver.
On the official draft thing, it says Malcolm Perry wide receiver. So they might have drafted him as a wide receiver.
I don't know. It's kind of up in the air because I saw him as a runner. I saw him listed as a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver, all on 3 different websites. So it's a little bit up in the air.
It'll be interesting, but yeah, I don't think the Dolphins team could be scary too.
I think the Dolphins are legitimately, with the Patriots being the way they are, I think the Dolphins could possibly make a wild card team, to be 100% honest.
I think the Bills I want to say the Bills will win the AFC East this year.
I think so too. I agree with that.
Well, why don't we do that real quick? Why don't we do it based off the draft classes? Who do you think is going to win each division?
All right, I'm down.
So AFC East, we said Bills. AFC North, it pains me to say it, I think the Ravens will take it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as much as it hurts my Pittsburgh ties, the Ravens just have the team to beat in the North.
Yeah. The AFC South, I'm gonna say the Titans take it again.
Honestly,
Wait, no, they didn't take it. They didn't take it, did they? No.
The Texans were.
But I think the Texans will not win it this year.
I don't think the Texans will either. I'm going to go with an interesting pick. And if Jacksonville can get sorted with all their players, they don't lose Leonard Fournette, and they don't lose Yannick Ngakoue, I'd expect the Jaguars to at least be top 2 of that division, if not win, based on their recent acquisition of the draft.
I don't think the Texans will win because they gave up Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans will probably win the South.
All right, fair enough. I'll be the lone guy with the Jaguars.
Then we have the West. For me personally, I think the Broncos might make a run in the West this year. I don't think they have the experience to do it, so I'm going to say the Chiefs pull it out this year, but next year it's up in the air.
Yeah, the Chiefs are just they're such an explosive team, and no one really compares that runs the same style offense as them. So I think the Chiefs will pretty much take that top spot from like week 3 and run away with it.
I think the Chiefs too. And if they get like better defensive guys, they'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, do we think they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champion? I mean, obviously
No.
it's way too early to say.
I don't think they will.
Alright.
Think no.
I don't know.
I honestly think they could. I mean, they didn't really lose anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's move on to that NFC. I think the NFC is a little bit more up in the air. I feel at least.
NFC East, obviously. I mean, for this one, it's a toss-up between two teams. I think it's the same toss-up for all of us between those two teams. I'm purely going to say, purely because of CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to say the Cowboys over the Eagles.
I'm going to go the Cowboys, not because of CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's a good factor, and he definitely will make an impact on the team. But the Cowboys are just the better team. They underperformed last year. It was kind of sad to watch how good that team could have been just to go 8-8 and miss the playoffs. So I think Dallas, they show up and take the NFC East.
Yeah, I think Dak's gonna be hungry. He's gonna go out and get it.
Yeah. He wants that new contract. The NFC North. Oh, the NFC. Well, again, it's between two teams. I'm gonna say.
Spit it out.
I'm gonna say the Packers purely because of the play of Aaron Rodgers.
Man, you really just took my whole argument from why I like the Jordan Love pick. I don't even think it's between two teams, to be 100% honest. I'm assuming you meant the Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vikings had what they had last year. I think the Packers.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings have it because Diggs left. I don't think it's going to be the same as last year. The Packers will win.
Well, I think Diggs maybe leaving might actually help them a little bit because obviously with Diggs, no, they had a whole bunch of attitude issues though, and that's just
Yeah.
But they didn't have Antonio Brown team splitting attitude issues. They just had he had a big ego, and you can't tell me that getting rid of one of the best catchy wide receivers in the game is going to help you.
That's true. All right, fair enough. We're all saying Packers, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The NFC South. Oh, again, I think I alluded to this earlier, but I believe it's going to be a close one. I believe the Bucks again will make a run at the Saints. However, I think the Saints will just barely pull it out, like by a game.
Yeah, I think it'll also be a close one. I mean, Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and Tom Brady is too, so I'm really looking forward to those two, playing each other multiple times this season. But I think in the end, although I think Tampa Bay is the better team on paper, I think the Saints will win the division.
Yeah, I think the Saints will win. Just because Breeze, I think he's going to put off the season this year.
Fair enough. I mean, like I said, Breeze is one of the GOATs, so.
And now we move on to the most controversial division. The NFC West. Now, let's be honest, there's a situation where all 4 teams win the division.
I can see that.
Okay, that's fair. However, obviously the 49ers did win it. It's gonna be like all 4 teams are gonna be like right with each other. Like those conference games have actually never meant more, but I think it'll be the 49ers slightly.
Honestly, I don't know. Like you said, it's going to be a really competitive division. I think each one of the teams kind of... I mean, the divisional games last year were very competitive, even between the Cardinals, who were the last one, and the 49ers ended up winning the division. I think, I'm going to write off the Rams. I don't think the Rams have it.
I was going to say, I think the Rams are the least likely to do it.
I don't know. I feel like everyone kind of underestimated the Seahawks this year, and then they had a good season. So I'm not going to underestimate them, but purely based on bias, though I'm a Cardinals fan, I want to say the Cardinals will do it. I think the Cardinals will be up there with the 49ers, but I think the 49ers will do it just simply because, I mean, they are Super Bowl runner-ups, so they do have a good team.
Yeah, I think the 49ers will win. I think Deebo Samuel is going to have a better season than he did last year. He had a good season last year, but I think he's going to have a better season this year.
No, I can definitely see that. I could definitely see that. He's very special.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Deebo Samuel, great season next year. Be on the lookout. All right. Do we want to move on to our last segment?
Do we want to? Are we pausing it?
Oh, that's right. We do have a little bit of a special. I don't really know what you call it, but here you go.
All right.
Thank you for listening to that. I guess we're just going to hop right into the next segment, which is the NBA. Now, new news. The NBA, starting May 1st, is going to allow NBA teams to practice in gyms in which it's legal. So, for us in Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure it's not, based on the government, they're not going to let the 76ers practice. Unless things change in the next couple of days. But, in Florida and Georgia, those teams are allowed to practice. So, with that being said, that means that the NBA could possibly be happening. And that means that we might find out who the MVP, the Rookie of the Year, the NBA champion will be. So we're going to go through with our predictions of who might, if the NBA season is to happen, will win that.
All right. Well, do we want to start off with champion or awards first?
Let's start out with who we think our finals matchup is, and then who the champion is.
I mean, personally, I think before this we were saying this is probably. I believe it'll still be the Bucks Lakers.
All right. You want to give us our champion, then we can just go through who we think and who we think will win.
All right, so I think the Lakers would win that one personally, but
All right. I gotta second you on the Lakers being the team out of the West. I got respect for the Clippers. I just don't. I don't know. I don't see the Clippers beating the Lakers in a 7-game playoff. However, I am gonna change it up. I like Giannis and the Bucks. I think they're a great team. But I think we see an upset somewhere along the line, whether it's in the Eastern Conference Finals or something. And I gotta go with the hottest team, I feel, in the Eastern Conference. And yes, that was a pun because I think the Heat make it the whole way to the finals.
Oh, that's a bit of an interesting pick there.
I don't know. I like this Heat team. I think they're really good. However, I don't think they get the job done. I think LeBron has just got too much. He's got too much for him.
I think he would destroy. I think he would outplay Jimmy Butler personally.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't, he's got Anthony Davis, the best power forward in basketball right now.
Exactly.
What you thinking?
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with both of those.
Oh.
I'm gonna say if Kawhi and Paul George are healthy, the Clippers will make it in the West.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think Giannis could carry them through the playoffs, and I think it's going to be the Clippers versus the Raptors. I think Pascal and Kyle Lowry will. And I think that the Clippers will win the finals.
Okay. I could totally see that, And if you're wondering...
I respect that.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, there's no mention of the 76ers in this.
Yeah.
I think chemistry issues between especially Ben Simmons and Embiid are just they're gonna lead to bigger problems, and it would just not work. One of them's gonna have to go at the end of the year. I mean, it's already guaranteed. I feel like.
Ethan, was that you just wanted to take shots at the Sixers?
No. I mean 100% honest. Like, one of them has to go. Like, they can't continue playing with each other if they want to win a championship. Just because their egos are totally, like, they both have big egos. It's not me taking shots, it's just what it's. I mean, everyone can see it.
I agree.
Yeah, see?
I'm not saying I disagree with one of them has to go, but you just brought it up out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, I do like to take shots at 76ers, but... And also another team we didn't mention was the, the Celtics, I could see them making it maybe, too. If they get on a good run, they could definitely do it. If Jason Tatum plays, like, really well, he could.
Yeah.
Same with Jalen Brown. But, I think the Heat are just a solid team all around. I could see the Bucks beating them. I could see the Raptors beating them. So, I mean... It's interesting because, like, this year, like, I feel like there was a lot of teams that could do it, especially in the East, because the Bucks. Yes, I did say the Bucks to win it, but at the same time, I would definitely not be shocked if, like, another team made it. I don't think, like, it's, like, normal years where, like, everyone says, oh, the Warriors are obviously going to make it. Like, it's different this year.
Yeah. Okay, do we want to move on to awards?
Yeah, let's do it.
MVP. Who thinks MVP? I feel like there's two candidates that we could probably select from. But
purely,
if you got a third one, so
I'm gonna say Giannis.
Yeah, I like what LeBron did this year. I think it's amazing the fact that he's still doing it at 35 years old and he's putting up MVP caliber stats. But I just feel like, it's most valuable player. And although LeBron is a very valuable player, Giannis is, like Donovan said, carrying his team pretty much, with all due respect to Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton and Dante DiVincenzo. He's carrying them. And I think, they're pretty similar in stat lines. If you compare LeBron's assists to Giannis's rebounding. But I think Giannis is overall going to go back-to-back.
Well, what happened to your Bradley Beal for MVP?
That stuff doesn't happen even though it should.
Okay.
That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
He is the most valuable player
Oh,
on the Wizards because he's the only reason why they do anything ever.
Maybe most underrated, not most valuable.
Hey, he's the reason why the Wizards have how many wins they have.
5.
All right, Ethan, you can be quiet. Let Donovan talk.
Okay, yeah. I agree. I think Giannis will win the MVP this year. I think, yeah, because it goes back to what I said. He's carrying his team, and how LeBron has AD, and how Giannis and the Bucks still have the best record in the league.
Yeah. All right, we want to move on to Rookie of the Year.
Well, there. Now, since there is one player that went to Duke, and obviously I like Duke, you would think I would choose him. However, I'm going to say Ja Morant.
All right, so I'm gonna agree with you there. Ja Morant, I feel like best rookie by far. Kendrick Nunn had a good season.
Wait, whoa, by far?
Yeah, I think Ja Morant had a better season, and this is why. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true, and Ethan, I'm going to call you out with this. I'm pretty sure that Zion Williamson, if the season does not resume, did not play enough games. Or, well, no, he would have played games, and next year he will be considered a rookie still. And with that being said, Ethan, if Zion Williamson wins Rookie of the Year, I do not want to hear anything out of you because you complain so much about Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I know. I won't. If he wins, I won't say anything. I don't like that rule. I just don't. I think if you play in a season, you should be considered for that season. Even if Zion does win, I'm still not going to be agreeing with it. So.
That's actually what I was going to say. I was going to say, if the season continues, and if Zion proves that if he keeps on playing the way that he's been playing, I think it'll be Zion. But if it ends, I think it'll be Ja.
All right. Do you want to move on to, I don't know, maybe a less important award in the Sixth Man of the Year? Just kind of I feel like it's an interesting award.
I think I'm going to go with this Mr. Six Man Award. I'm going to go with Lou Williams. The guy practically owns the award at this point. I think he's gonna. I think he would win it again too.
I think Lou Williams is the second best six man in the league. My best six man, my pick to win Sixth Man of the Year, is the Thunder backup point guard Dennis Schroeder. I mean, he had a breakout season. I guess you could call it a breakout season, and it wasn't even starting. And I mean, he played amazing with the Thunder. He's part of the reason why they're the 5 or 6 seed in the West.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, not discrediting Chris Paul for leading that team, but Dennis Schroeder's a big reason why they are there. And I think he's serving the sixth man a little more than Lou Williams.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Lou Williams. I think Lou Williams would win. I just think that he's proven. I think he averages like 18 points per game off the bench.
Yeah. Again, like I said, Lou Williams is my second pick. He's pretty much, as long as he's in the league, Lou Williams is going to be a front runner for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
We got most improved. Dude, I honestly don't know how I'm going to grade most improved, but I guess we can talk about who we think the most improved player is.
I might say like Brandon Ingram.
I see that, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like Brandon Ingram I feel like he's the best player that was on the watch list for most improved. I think that I think between two people. I'm debating between the guy who is part of the hottest team that I said would possibly make it to the finals in Bam Adebayo. I think he had a huge season breaking out for the Heat. Or, oh shoot, why did I forget who I was talking about? Hold on. Let me make sure that I got this right. Luka Doncic has been in the year for a year. He's not a rookie.
He's actually he's got the best odds to win it.
Yeah, I think you go either Bam or simply because Luka was so good last year too. I don't know. I feel like Luka almost won't win it simply because of how big his name is. I don't know.
They usually do give. You're right. They usually do give the most improved player to someone not as well known.
I mean, Bam's well known. I feel like, or at least he's not a nobody. But I mean, I just feel like Luka's such a big name that giving him most improved, I don't know. It kind of defeats the purpose of the award to recognize somebody who's a young guy who's improving good.
I think, I agree with Bam. I think he's proved a lot this year. He's good.
Yeah, I mean, another guy that we didn't really name, Donovan, you said he could lead the Raptors to a finals, I think. Pascal Siakam, I'm pretty sure he was the winner last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from being the winner of Most Improved, and he won Most Improved with 17 points and 7 rebounds. He's now averaging 26 and 8.5. I mean, his numbers skyrocketed last year, and they skyrocketed even more. I think you can make a pretty good argument for Pascal Siakam winning back-to-back Most Improved.
Yeah.
That's all the player awards, right?
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Defensive Player of the Year. I forgot about that.
I'm going to say this might be a bit of a shock, but don't worry, it's not who you think it is. Just to clear that up, JR.
Ethan, just tell me who you think.
I think it's Anthony Davis.
That's not really a shock. I mean, I think there are better defenders than him, but I mean, Anthony Davis is definitely in the conversation. The two other guys that come to my mind at least are Kawhi, who he's always an amazing defensive presence for whatever team he's playing with, and Giannis had a pretty good defensive season. I think it's really a toss-up between the two. I guess if the NBA season was to if it was to continue, I don't really know who I'd have to choose right now. I don't know. It might be. Honestly, I don't know if I could pick. I guess I'm just gonna go with Giannis because I think he's gonna win MVP.
I don't think they'll give it to Giannis because I don't think they'll give MVP and defense. I'm gonna say Rudy Gobert. He's a good rim protector.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I like that pick very much. That's a good pick.
Ethan, you can be quiet. Alright, so now there'll be Panel of Player Awards. I guess our last one will be Coach of the Year, which usually just goes to the winningest coach or one of the most winningest coaches. So I guess there's only a few choices. What do you guys think about Coach of the Year?
I might, purely because I might say Eric Spoelstra.
Are you saying that because I said that the Heat would make the finals?
No, I'm just thinking because the Heat have been decent the past couple of years to finish off Dwayne Wade's career, but they took a ginormous leap this year. So I mean, I would say Eric Spoelstra, or I could see is the Clippers coach is Doc Rivers, right?
Yeah.
I'd say maybe Doc Rivers too.
I gotta be honest, I'm gonna go with the fact that they usually pick the winning or the most winningest coaches, and I gotta say it's pretty much a toss-up between Frank Vogel and Budenholzer. I mean, at one point, I think it would have been clear cut Budenholzer winning because they were on pace to be as good as the Warriors whenever they had their 9-loss season. But it's kind of tightened up recently. I think it'd be Budenholzer simply because, like we've mentioned, Giannis is pretty much carrying the team. I mean, Chris Middleton's good, but I don't think he's a second scoring option. I'm assuming that most of the Giannis is obviously being coached well because he's putting up MVP caliber numbers. He's carrying his team, so I'm going to give it to Mike Budenholzer.
All right, I'm going to go. I had the Raptors. I'm going to take Nick Nurse. I think that he done a lot with the team without Kawhi and leading a team to second place in the East in the regular season.
Yeah, I respect that.
That's fair.
Nurse he definitely did himself good, especially after losing Kawhi.
Yeah.
That's all the awards, right?
Yeah.
I'm forgetting anything now. All right, well, I guess that's it. That's all we got.
Anything else anyone else wants to add?
Oh, actually, I forgot. Jordan, who is Donovan's older brother, he's going to like this. But I'm going to give a shout-out to Aaron Gordon. I know he's never going to watch this, but shout out Aaron Gordon. He just dropped a music video to his rap song 9 out of 10. It's a little bit of a diss track to Dwayne Wade because he gave him 9 out of 10 and caused him to lose the dunk contest. It's a good song. Y'all should go give it a listen. Yeah, shout out Aaron Gordon, his music career.
I've seen that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good, and also, because we all said, I think we all agreed, Aaron Gordon has been robbed twice now of the dunk contest award.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's been robbed both times.
I don't think this year more than the previous one.
I think the previous one more than this one.
I don't know. I feel like Zach LaVine was good, though. I don't know.
Zach LaVine was good, but I feel like...
I felt like Derek... I don't know. I just don't think Derek Jones deserved to win it, personally.
I think he did.
I think Derek Jones deserved to win it. I mean, no, I think they deserve to tie. I didn't think it was... Yeah, not to say Derek Jones. I thought it was gonna be close, but... I think Aaron Gordon's dunks the first time he got robbed were just...
They were insane. They were insane.
They were a whole different level than what he did this past year.
And he still lost, which I don't even understand how he lost. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. 2015, he should have won, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, no hate on Zach LaVine, amazing dunker, but Aaron Gordon just had his number that night.
Hey, I do want to point out that a Utah Jazz player has won the dunk contest recently. Just throwing that out there.
Ethan, before this podcast goes down a way that you don't want it to, I recommend that you stop talking about the Jazz.
Hey, Todd's not here to say it.
Well, Donovan will say it. I guarantee you.
What?
Donovan, can you tell him to be quiet about the Utah Jazz?
Be quiet about the Utah Jazz.
Alright, fine.
Thank you.
And what is it with Chicago and dunk contest? Every time it's in Chicago, it's always good.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Chicago's one of the most legendary cities when it comes to basketball. I guess that aura just kind of comes with it.
Well, speaking of,
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the episodes of The Last Dance yet, but...
Oh, we could talk about that. Donovan, I don't know. Have you watched any of that?
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 episodes.
I haven't seen any of
I
them.
gotta be honest. It lives up to the hype.
We're 3 and... Did you watch 3 and 4?
Oh, yeah, I watched 3
Were
and 4
3 and 4
last
better
night.
than 1 and 2?
Honestly, they're all the same. They're high-quality episodes. I mean, it's an amazing documentary. It's great. I mean...
again, like the Unborn thing, go give it a watch because that thing is that. I'm gonna watch it soon. I just haven't had a chance to.
That's a disgrace, Ethan.
I bet Bull Ash is all over that.
Oh yeah, boy Carson Bolash. He definitely has to be watching that. It's the last time the Bulls are relevant.
Oh, Mr. Bolash.
Yeah, Mr. Bull Ash. We gotta get him on too. Like there's a bunch of our friends that like know a lot about sports that we should totally have on.
Yeah. So, podcast listeners, if you want to join us, if you're one of our friends listening to this, hit us up because we'd always love to have you as a guest host like we just did for Donovan.
Or even if you're like a random person but are interested in sports, hit us up. We'll probably still talk to you.
Yeah, literally anybody. We'll talk to anybody about sports if you want to.
Yeah. Also, like
All right.
sports fan accounts as well. If you're listening to this, we
Literally
can
anybody.
we can talk about just one team for a whole episode. That's totally fine. So if you want to do that, we're all down. Although
All right, Ethan.
although we do have some great ideas that we just have recently hatched up that we're gonna think about doing, but we're also down to do as many interviews as possible. And or if any high profile athletes are listening to this as well, I mean, love to have you on. Reach out if anyone sees this.
Ethan, you're getting ahead of yourself.
I'm joking. There's probably no high profile athletes watching us, but
Ethan, before you get
Not
to
yet.
it.
not yet. Yeah. I like that. Not yet.
All right, Ethan. Before you get too ahead of yourself, I think we should probably wrap this up. Donovan, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for being a huge supporter for this show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
of course.
All right, Ethan. You want to sign us off?
Do I do the famous sign off that Todd does?
Yeah. You got to go to sign off, man.
All right. So I guess for Double FM Sports, I'm Ethan Fager,
I'm Jared Misery.
and we are signing off. Thank you for watching.